Welcome to the Business Spotlight. My name is Jada Walker. I am your host for today's conversation, and my guest today is Mario Sierra. He is the CEO and founder of Harmonic Biosciences. We'll be talking about his business, journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek of what it's really like to build and operate a business. So, Mario, welcome to the show and thank you for being here today. I would love for you to give us a little bit of your background of who you are and tell us a little bit about your business as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the time, Jada. Super excited to be here and talk about all things business. Like you mentioned, I'm the founder and CEO of Harmonic. Prior to founding Harmonic, I've spent the last near decade in different aspects of the clinical trials industry. So I've worked on class two, class three medical devices. I have three FDA approved products under my belt that I contributed to. I was not the quarterback in that case, but I was definitely on the field. Um, and then a little bit of consumer wearables experience at Whoop, a Boston-based company, and then a software company in the clinical trial space called Proof Pilot. A lot of my interests came, I was a biochemistry major and a business minor. So the business side of science is really what intrigued me. I was on the med school track to be a surgeon, but after following them and seeing their lifestyle, it's a great paycheck, not the best lifestyle. They have to be long hours and in the OR and whatnot. And so I decided to move upstream a little bit and dive into the world of clinical research. And it's been really fruitful for me and seeing how devices get to market and being able to prove that they are safe and effective and all the data that goes into FDA submissions. Yeah, that's a little bit of my background.
I like that. That was really cool because I've never met anyone that was a biochemist. Biochemist, my brain today, oh my God, it's this whole week. I don't know what's going on in my brain. But biochemistry and business major like in one, so that's kind of cool. But why did you decide to do both of those instead of a different, like, go a different route with something?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have an entrepreneurial tick. I mean, my parents were entrepreneurs, so I saw them running their
Nice.
business, and so I always wanted to figure out what's the business that I could run. I was much more, so my dad's an engineer, and my mom was more on the HR side of things. But science is the
Okay.
thing that always intrigued me. Science camps, like I remember, I fell in love with science at the Harry Potter camp in Houston at the
Oh my gosh.
Museum of Natural Science. So it's something that always intrigued me. Yeah, biochemistry is it's a mix between biology and chemistry, obviously, from the
Yeah.
name, but it's a layer above physics. Physics to me was too math oriented, but chemistry and
Oh
biology
yeah, definitely.
were my wheelhouse. And getting to see how cells work, how photosynthesis happens, like all the inner workings of the cells was so fascinating to me. I really enjoyed the career track I was on or the education track that I was on. But at the end of the 4 years, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to go any further than this, master's, PhD, and whatnot. So I wanted to dive in and start applying my scientific knowledge in industry. Yeah, I think I found a really good spot for it that was adjacent to doctor and being and
Yeah.
working with patients and whatnot, but still more business oriented. So yeah, I think I found a good spot.
Yeah. That's awesome. So to set the stage a little for our viewers and listeners, generally speaking, what does your current ownership structure look like? Like, are you the sole founder or do you have any type of investors?
Yeah, so I'm a solo founder. We're mostly bootstrapped. So I
Okay.
founded the company at the beginning of 2025. We incorporated in April of 2025. So yeah, mostly bootstrapped. We had one investor come in at the end of 2025, at the end of October. We've built a lean team of core advisors. I'm really most proud about the advisors that we've onboarded, some really big hitters that have lots of great experience that are 10, 15, 20 years ahead of me. And so they're being really good coaches, really good mentors, and helping me focus on the right things in the business. So yeah, we've been very intentional about being capital efficient. Yeah, just lean, mean team.
I like that. That's cool. So could you tell us a little bit about your role and like what you kind of do in the business as CEO and
Yeah,
a co-founder? Yeah.
for sure. So I'm wearing 12 hats right now, as you can see. That's my running joke. Very focused on different, it depends on the day, what aspect of the business I'm focused on, whether it's strategy, product development, partnerships, fundraising. Over the past month, since the beginning of the year, I've been more focused on fundraising. Like we went to JPM last week, Health Tech Week in San Francisco. So being more intentional around the fundraising side of things. Yeah, every day could be different.
I used to love to go to like little fundraisers whenever I was in school because they would always have them like at our school. And it was just like I just loved like being around other people and like they're all there for the same reason. It's just like, yeah, I think that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, a lot of my evenings are spent networking. So we had two events over the past week. There's a group called Fiesta that's really popular here in Austin, and then another one is Austin Hard Tech. So I'm really bullish about our Austin ecosystem and building a biotech medical device company here in this ecosystem. I think we're ripe for innovation. We need a unicorn to come out of Austin and then a couple more
Yeah,
investors to make some presence here. But Austin is going to be the next biotech hub. It's going to be the next Bay Area or Boston. But yeah, things are moving to Texas.
that's really cool. So many business owners, especially newer to entrepreneurship, they feel as though they never have enough time. So I'm obviously curious, based on your experience, if I were to give you an extra 10 hours back each week,
Ooh,
how would you invest those hours?
ooh, great question. I think I would dive into the networking side more if I had just 10 more hours. I think making relationships with other people and mostly finding other founders or other people to support you organically, right? Like that's been an area for me that I've I don't know, been fed from energy wise, right? Finding other founders, helping them solve their problems. I think when you can find somebody that's ahead of you, somebody that's building with you, and somebody that's kind of behind you or kind of growing up, then that's a good
Yeah,
place to be. So I look to find those people.
yeah. And then it's like they kind of help you more. And like I feel like those type of people are more motivating too, because like they know what they want to do and like where they're going in life. So like it helps you be like, oh yeah, like I want to be attached to this person because like
Yeah.
they're moving up and that's what I want to do.
Yeah, most businesses have the same problems too. I would say like
Mm-hmm.
80% of the problems are the same. So if I've been able to solve something some way, I would be happy to tell another founder my approach to it. And if that helps them, that's
Yeah.
all the better for us. And yeah, again, building the community, building an ecosystem here, it comes from helping each other. Like all, what is it? Rising tide lifts all boats, right? So I very much
Yeah.
follow that mantra, and I want to build this ecosystem with everybody.
I love that. So before we get into the nitty gritty of the business itself, let's actually look into your background and what led you here. So why did you choose to go into business for yourself? Oh, wait, you actually kind of already talked about that. I was gonna say, why did you go into business for yourself as opposed to working for someone else? So
Yeah,
actually, let me kind of think about that and kind of rephrase it because I feel like you kind of spoke on that a little earlier. But
I
if you
can
want to,
I can touch a little more. Yeah.
okay, cool, yeah,
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, entrepreneurial bug from a very early age, seeing my parents. But coming out of college, I've worked in startups my whole career, so I'm very often the second or third hire at a company. So myself and the founder, so I would call myself an entrepreneur in those jobs, but it's really
okay,
jumping in when there's no processes, there's chaos, and there's how do we do this, right? And then figuring things out. So scaling businesses from zero in revenue to multi-million dollars in revenue has been some of my sweet spot at the very beginning before we get to like a, I don't know, a seed or series A, typically on a fundraising round. So yeah, that's been a big impetus for me. I've been able to grow my network that way, grow a bunch of skills that way that have translated into my business. So yeah, that's
I like that. That was really cool. So as you look back on your journey so far, what has been the most memorable roadblock or hurdle that you were challenged with and you were forced to overcome?
Yeah, love that question. So this came very early for me, which is really fun. So like I mentioned, founded the company at the beginning of last year. So at that time, it was a very blue ocean. There were very few competitors even in this space, and so
Yeah.
that was so. Think about so January founded the company. February was a big hurdle for me. February was when a competitor got funded. They raised almost $7 million. And so for
Oh,
me, the
wow.
hurdle was a oh crap moment, right? So what do I do here? Like I literally have a journal entry where it was like, as opposed to letting this be the wind that blows out my flame, it's going to be a spark that ignites the engine. So that to me was a big hurdle. It's honestly now looking back at it, it was a market validation signal that another company wanting to do something similar was able to raise funds, right? So yeah,
Hmm.
I'm very proud of myself for not letting it derail me or disencourage me,
Right.
and I'm abandoning the
Right.
mission. But no, it became the spark.
Yeah, because I was just about to say, because I know like if it was me, I'm not gonna lie, I would probably be like, oh my God, like someone beat me to it. Like now I don't even want to do it. But I love how
Yeah,
you just you're still keeping at it and like you're just not gonna let them be the only one. Like you're like, I'm gonna be your competitor, so you better be ready.
Yeah, it's like all those limiting beliefs start coming into your head when hurdles come up, right? But if you look
Yeah,
at any market, how many competitors are there in any market? How many phone brands are there? How many cars are there, right? Like
right.
there's an open market and it's never one competitor that gets 100% of the market share. That is super, super rare. So yeah, it's like the limiting beliefs were the first 10, and then once you start feeding or calling BS on those limiting beliefs, you're like, no, there's plenty of opportunity here, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like everyone can eat at the table. Like, just got to share a little bit.
Yeah.
so, so let's move on and let's talk about what makes your business so special. So, who
Mhm.
primarily does your business actually serve? Like, if I were in the audience, how would I know that this is a good product or service for me?
Yeah, so we haven't dove in a lot into what the actual business is. So at Harmonic, we're creating a biosensor to measure hormones continuously. So it's a
That's
wearable,
cool.
very similar to a glucose monitor. So it's a patch that goes on your arm. It uses microneedles and it's just below the surface of the skin that we're detecting hormones. So who's our ideal customer? It's people that want more deeper actionable insights into their body. So you can think, I don't know, biohackers, athletes. There's obviously men's and women's health applications. Fertility
Hmm.
is what we're considering as a beachhead market as well. So
Oh,
helping
I love
patients
that.
optimize their hormones. And then long term, we see it more for clinicians and researchers. So I'm much more bullish on the research side of things. I think that layers in with my background being a clinical researcher. But I think what we're creating at the end of the day is a data set, a proprietary data set that we can learn a lot from. And this data set in the future will be used for precision medicine, prediction, and personalized outcomes.
Would this be able so like with this device, would it be able to because I have a friend who's like a dietitian and she like does like all these different like tests with like her clients. Would that be something that like a dietitian could also look into and like include that into like their type of clinic or practice?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Over the past year, we've secured 12 LOIs, letters of interest, with different B2B vendors. One of the interesting ones that came up was a nutrition platform. So, straight to your point, like they wanted to leverage our data in their algorithm to optimize patients' nutrition. So, that's a future data licensing opportunity for us. We first have to produce the data and produce the hardware, right? But I totally see
Yeah.
applications in nutrition. We have one with a space healthcare company, animal husbandry. So there's lots of wide market application for what we're building for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because it's like at least you don't have to like have like one little lane that you're in. Like you can literally like branch out, like you said, like to like animals and like different like hormones or like all that stuff. That's really cool.
Absolutely.
I've never even like heard anyone talk about stuff like this. So I'm like really enjoying this conversation. So what do you think makes your business unique since you do have competitors or at least one competitor here in Austin? And how do you communicate what makes your business stand out against the competition?
Yeah. Great question. So my competitor is in the UK, just for a quick point of
Oh,
clarification. But then in terms of the competitive landscape right now, so there's still no competitor or there's no device on the market that does continuous hormone monitoring. So what I compare us to is the on-market providers right now. So they're basically static tests. So whether it's a urine test, a saliva test, or a blood test, they all have the same problem is that they're static. So you get the test one time, you get the readout of what your hormone level is, and that's really where it ends, right? What we're really
hmm.
differentiated by is that we're doing continuous data, and additionally we're detecting the direct hormone. So for an example, estrogen
Okay.
in your body and your blood is E2. That's the form of estrogen in your blood.
Hmm.
The other companies that are doing the saliva urine testing, they're testing for metabolites of estrogen. Our device, our technology is detecting estrogen specifically, right? So direct hormone detection plus continuous monitoring are two of our biggest differentiators.
That's really awesome. Like, man, I'm about to go tell everyone about this afterwards. I'm just like, that is so wild. So, what is one thing that you wish more people knew about your business?
Yeah. So I think often we get pigeonholed into fertility and women's health. So I'm trying to branch or zoom the company out a little bit more, right, and show more of this
Yeah.
wide market opportunity platform technology. Hormonal health doesn't just affect women. Men have hormonal issues as well. TRT is a very
Right.
common thing. Even infertility from the male perspective is a very common thing. We don't know if it's hormonally driven, if there's all these other indications or causes for that, right? So really, what I wish
Right.
people,
Like stress
what I
or
wish more
anything.
people, 100%, yeah, cortisol is one of the hormones that we want to measure. So yeah, I mean, hormone issues affect a wide market. Like around 80% of the market has hormone issues, right? Whereas when I compare us to glucose monitor, that's like 11% of the market. So yeah, I really just want people to see the wide market opportunity and the platform play that we have here to affect lots of different indications.
Yeah. And hopefully more people will watch this and like get that, but you're not just for the one lane. Like you're like, we can do a couple of different things.
Definitely.
So let's talk about marketing, which is something that's vital for every business out there and often an area that business owners struggle with. So of course, I'm curious what successful business owners are doing. So do you know what percentage of your monthly sales is typically invested back into your marketing budget?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're a pre-revenue company, so we're working on
Okay.
the very first version of our product, the alpha prototype, right? But we have done a lot of
Yeah.
thinking around go-to-market strategy and marketing. Some of the strategies that we want to implement. So we believe we can sell direct to consumer, so leveraging like subject
Yeah.
matter experts, people that have podcasts, people that have a brand and a following. What a lot of what we want to communicate is trust with the device, and I think that comes from a relationship either with a provider, a clinician, or a brand, right? So we're trying to
Hmm.
build all those things in our go-to-market channels. So direct to consumer and then B to B to C. So selling through fertility clinics, selling through providers, functional health clinics, wellness clinics, hormone clinics, right? So those are some of our
Yeah.
go-to-market channels.
Cool. So what sort of marketing planning do you have in place right now? Oh, you kind of just said that. I'm goofy. My brain is not
Mhm.
working today. Goodness gracious. I need to take a nap.
Yeah,
My
you're
daughter,
good.
she's been waking up in the middle of the night. So like my brain's just been like, I don't know.
You're good.
So what approach have you taken to track some of your leads? Like, do you guys have a CRM that you prefer?
Yeah, that was a recommendation from one of my advisors. Like, get yourself in a CRM. So yeah, we use HubSpot right now. So I'm tracking all of our leads from investors. So like top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, and kind of going through a process with that. It really is a volume game. Um, Number one, yeah, it's a volume game. Like number of people you have to speak to get the number of investors that fill your round, right? Um,
Yeah.
and then, so yeah, there's the investor side with HubSpot, and then there's also the clinic side of things. So we're looking for partnerships, continued letters of support or letters of interest from clinicians that would want to use our device. So I'm using it in both of those, plus email marketing campaigns and stuff like that, updates, newsletter updates.
Okay, cool. So
Mhm.
actually moving from marketing to sales, what does your sales process look like whenever you are talking to like some of these investors or even
Mhm.
anyone else that you are have been talking to?
Yeah. So yeah, we're taking multiple different approaches to the sales process. So I have a company working with me on LinkedIn, like on the back end, right? So they send
Yeah.
messages and connect with investors on LinkedIn. We're in a couple of different platforms that have. It's like you create one application and it goes out wide market, right? So Gust
Oh,
is one of the
nice.
examples of those. So you can get in front of accelerators, angel networks, and then some VCs. And then another one that's been really successful for us is called deepchecks.vc. So they're actually a local Austin company. And yeah, so you fill out an application there and it goes out to more hard tech investors. So
Oh,
they get to
cool.
initiate. So we submit all the materials, they get to review them, and then they initiate contact with us. So it's almost like a warm lead, right? So they're already interested in what we're building. And I've had some good conversations from there over the past couple of weeks. I found that one earlier this year. So it's a new one for me.
Nice. Nice. I like how there's like since moving to Austin, I feel like I've found out like there's so many different resources for different people that like I was like I've never even heard of these things back home in Illinois, but
Yeah.
like never. And
Yeah,
it's been
and that
kind of cool.
dovetails
That's
back to the networking thing and finding other founders, right? So what has worked
yeah.
for you? Like what have you heard? What are you seeing in the ecosystem, right? So I've learned several of these leads from other founders and they're like, "Oh, have you tried Gus?" I'm like, "What's Gus?" Like, let me go
Right.
figure that out.
That's awesome. So you had mentioned, I think you had mentioned you had a few team members here and there where possible. So I feel it's important to address
Mhm,
the topic of building a great team. So
mhm.
wow, I'm like my brain. Oh my gosh, I need to get it
You're
together
great.
today.
You're doing great.
how how would you describe your leadership style in business?
Yeah, my leadership style, I would say, is trust but verify. So I'm hiring people to fill in key skill sets that I don't have. So
Mm-hmm.
when I onboard them, I want to number one learn from them whatever I can, right? I don't want to necessarily do
Yeah.
their job or micromanage them, but I do want to ensure that the skills that I'm hiring for are present, right? Because
Yeah.
people can do a lot of how do you say? I don't know, make it could seem gray when it should be black and white, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
as I onboard them, I want to attend a couple meetings with them, have a regular meeting cadence, and then after a certain period of time, when trust has been verified, I can let them go and give them autonomy, and then we can have more irregular meetings and just kind of reporting and seeing how things are going. But I definitely want to give people as much autonomy when they're on my team so that they can grow and use their skill set to the advantage of their growth and then of the business as well.
I like that. That's really cool. And I like how you want to kind of learn from them as well. So that, I mean, obviously like you want to learn so you know like it's going well, of course, but yeah, I like how you want to learn because then maybe if you don't need like them, then you could just go in and be like and fix it
Yeah.
yourself or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
and I
really
take the
cool.
approach of like all the decisions at the end of the day land on me as the CEO. So I want to be
Right.
involved and know what the decisions are. I don't need to be making the decisions, but I need to be aware so that when things go a certain direction, we can either recalibrate or figure out a better way.
Right. Yeah. So let's move forward and look at what's to come next. So where do you see your business in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, great question. So in the next 3 to 5 years, we will have an FDA approved device. So we do have to go through clinical trials. We're a class
That's
two medical
cool.
device. So 2 years is an ambitious timeline to get through FDA. 3 years is an average timeline. So in the next 3 to 5 years, we'll have an FDA approved device. We'll be selling actively in these different channels that we talked about, direct to consumer, B2B to C, and we'll be creating this data set. We'll be impacting lives. I think this is again wide market application. Hormone health and hormone data is not something that's very well known right now or very common for people to have. So I see it like wearables, right? Like it's going to be another common
Hmm.
wearable that people are using for the insights that they get from the device. And then, yeah, over time, we'll be able to recommend, predict, give you precision medicine applications from the device. I think that's what people are going to gravitate to the most.
Yeah. So how do you actually, because you said something about getting it FDA approved, how do you actually go about doing that for for a product?
Yeah, so that goes right into my background as a clinical researcher. So I have 3 FDA approved products under my belt. So it's really engaging
Okay.
with the FDA and and understanding what they want to see. So you go in and kind of assert like this is our plan. Do you agree or disagree? And you try and make sure that you're filling in any holes. Like you don't want FDA to be like, hey, you missed this whole data set or something like that. So you try and be very comprehensive with your approach. And then it's about going and getting the data, right? So we'll work with clinical partners. So we have two fertility clinics on the West Coast that we've partnered with as potential clinical partners, right? And so we would use them. We'd be able to leverage their patient populations, run our clinical trial, put the device on patients, and collect the data that we need to submit to FDA for that approval.
Awesome. I'm glad I asked that question because I've never had like anyone explain that. So I'm glad like I asked you.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. So, what has been your approach to setting goals? Like, do you like write them down or do you just kind of like, you're just like, I have it in my head and I know what I'm going to do type of person?
Yeah, a little bit of both, I would say. So definitely it helps to get them out on paper and look at your goals and orient around that. I have a mindset coach that I've been working with for this is going on year 2, and he's helped me reframe one very specific thing and one very helpful thing about goals. And it's changing from an outcome oriented goal to an action oriented goal, right? So
Yeah.
the difference there is that outcome oriented goals, once you achieve that goal, the goalpost moves, right? Whereas if
Yes.
you're oriented, and so it can be demotivating, it can be like discombobulating, like once you get there, like now what, right? Like I don't have another goal. Whereas if
Right.
you orient yourself around action goals, actions are repeatable, actions you can track literally every single day, and it's not this far off because, like I mentioned, we have this goal for 2 to 3 years in the future to get to FDA approval. That can be very cumbersome. That can be very psychologically heavy. Like I'm not seeing progress, we're not getting there. But if I'm oriented to action oriented goals, these are the things that I'm doing every day to get to that 2 to 3 year goal. That is very motivating. And every time I check off
Right.
that box of the things that I'm doing every day, I'm making progress toward that goal. And that feeds your brain, that feeds your dopamine system that we're on the right track.
I really like that. Now I hopefully my brain is taking that in and like is like, girl, that needs to be in my life.
So yeah, that's where it comes with talking about it versus writing it. So when you write down your 5-year goal, that's great. So that's the direction that we're going. Now back into it and say, what are the actions that I need to take every single day to get toward to that 5-year goal? And that's part of my process.
I like that. Hopefully other people hear that and they start doing their goals like that. Cause yeah, I feel like that's a really smart way to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah. You have had a really interesting story, Mario. So as we wrap up, I do have those rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready?
let's do it.
Awesome. Okay. What is the key to success for you?
Yeah, I think there's a couple for me. So there are probably more personality traits, but curiosity, resilience, a positive mindset, and not playing the victim in any scenario. I think those are very much keys for success for me.
Love those ones. What is one piece of advice for other business owners?
Yeah, I think we've touched on this a little bit, but find your tribe, find other founders, find other builders, find people that are ahead of you, find people that are building with you, and find people that you can bring along the journey that want to join that as well and build together, build in community, and help each other solve problems.
Yeah. Okay. What is a book or a podcast that you are reading or listening to?
Ooh, yeah, I could talk about this one for like 20 minutes probably. But a podcast that I really like recently is My First Million, MFM. They bring on really good founders and people that are builders, and they have really good strategic advice. And then I've been spending this month at least reading some management books. So The Dream Manager was a really good one. I read that one in less than a day because it just sucked me in. Really good book.
Really?
And then the 1 Minute Manager was another one that I finished this month. So two good management books.
It's funny because like I'm not much of a reader, but like I actually like the books that will teach me like real life things, and I will get
Mhm.
through those books. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. I don't really, and it's funny because I do like fiction, but I'm just like it gets boring at a point where I'll just put the book down and I will not look at it for months. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm actually gonna check out this book that you just said.
Great.
Well, before we get to the final question of the day, could you please share with our audience how they can follow you, learn more, and contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm most active on LinkedIn. So Mario Sierra, you can find me there. Local here in Austin, Texas. The company is Harmonic Biosciences, HARMONIQ. And then our website is Harmonic Bio, HARMONIQ bio.com.
All right. So that final question of the day, it is what is most inspiring to you today?
Yeah, great question. I think what's most inspiring to me today is the convergence of AI and biology. So I think with especially what we're working on, this data set around hormones and the ability for AI to come in and learn from this data set. So I don't know if I touched on this, but we're also building in a diary component where users can put in their sleep, exercise, nutrition, and then product information. So I really see a future where AI can recommend products based on your hormone profile and give
Oh,
you
that'd
like
be awesome.
the best lifestyle integration from these products,
Yeah.
right? We know a lot of things are, how do you say, like endocrine disruptors, right? Soy products, plastics, and whatnot. So yeah, I
Yeah.
see a lot of power with the convergence of AI and these biological data sets that we're creating to give you a personalized, almost coach in your pocket that you can go to and optimize so many different things in your life. And so we're just one of those categories of wearables, but I think that's where the future is going. Like wearables, your shirt is going to be smart. We already see that
Yeah.
with your mattress, like pillow, all these different things. So
Mm-hmm.
data is going to become abundant. And so leveraging that data on top of AI to, again, give you personalized information, I think is something that's really exciting to me.
Yeah, that's gonna be really cool. Like I'm just ready for all the things to come out because every time I talk to someone new, they say like what they're working on, and I'm like, I can't wait to see this come out and like see
Yeah,
like how everyone else uses it in like just anything. I'm just like, it's so cool.
absolutely.
Well,
Future
this has
is
been a
abundant.
yes, yes, very much. Well, this has been a great conversation. I have really enjoyed your story. So thank you so much for coming on here and telling us all of it. And also, I do want to encourage all of you who are watching to save this show and come back later because Mario really did have some great insights for business. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that you can get notifications every time a new conversation drops like this one. Thank you to everyone who joined us today, and a special thank you to you, Mario, for being here with us today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Jada, for the opportunity. Great conversation.